Hi, I'm Larry Johnson. I'm a professor at Texas A&M University, and today we're going to talk about skin.
Hi, I'm Larry Johnson. I am a professor at Texas A&M University, and today we're going to talk about skin. In fact, we'll be talking more specifically about the layers of the epidermis that we'll see.
So there are different layers of the epidermis. Palms or sole of feet is where we see those very plainly. You have the stratum corneum on the outside, which is dead cells, differentiated cells are divide here and to differentiate as they go to the surface, and this is the most differentiated cells. The cells are flat, dead, nucleated. You don't have nucleus in them. You just basically have keratin hyaline granules. Below that, you can have the stratum lucidum, especially in thick skin, which is just a clear area through there. And then below that is a stratum granulosum, and this is where you see the keratin hyaline granules, which is the matrix of these cells up through there. And then below that is a stratum spinosum, where you have spines in between here. Looks like spines. It's really desmosomal connections that hold the cells together, and they interact with the tonal filaments or the intermediate filaments. And then the very bottom layer is a stratum germinativum or stratum basale, and that's the source of mitotic activity that then differentiates and moves to the surface and ultimately is sloughed off. So we can see those in real skin. This is thick skin with the keratinized epithelium, keratinized because it has a stratum corneum on it. Stratum corneum, stratum lucidum is right in through there. Stratum granulosum is where you see the granules that you see through there. Stratum spinosum, you can see the little spines in through there, which are desmosomal connections between adjacent cells. And then the basale. The basale is the basal layer that actually sits on the basement membrane that interacts with the dermis, and it has hemodesmosomes as opposed to desmosomes connect two cells. Hemodesmosomes connect the epithelial cell to underlying connective tissue that we see there. So this is the keratin hyaline granules, and this is a keratinized stratum corneum, as we can see. So you can have a little clear stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum basale. And here we can see the similarity to keratin hyaline granules here, and we can see the desmosomal connections of the stratum spinosum, hence their name spinosum. Basically what it is, the space should not be there, but when the cells shrink, the desmosomes between them hold tight. And so you see the spines. Really, there should not be a space in between there. So basically, 4 layers: stratum corneum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum basale. If we look at the stratum basale, we see hemodesmosomes. This is collagen in through here, and this is the basal lamina or the basement membrane that all epithelium sits on. Stratum spinosum, you can see the spine. These are the desmosomal connections between this cell and that cell, this cell and that cell, and they look like little spines when the tissue shrinks. So this region here is what we're seeing around these cells, which is a stratum spinosum located between the basale and the stratum granulosum. And the stratum granulosum has a keratin hyaline granules, and that's what we see at the light microscopic level. We can see these granules, and above that is a stratum corneum. Now, from the base, all the way from the basal all the way to here, you have desmosomal connections. You see them very plainly here in the stratum spinosum, but they continue all the way up here, even in the stratum corneum. You can see where the cells are attached to one another with the desmosomes. Now, the matrix of these are just basically the keratin hyaline granules. So the nucleus has been removed, the cytoplasm is removed, the cells differentiated, dead, and it just sits at the top, and ultimately they're sloughed off. And they're sloughed off the top as stratum corneum, stratum granulosum. You see the granules in through here, spinosum, and the basale. If we look at electron microscopic level, you can see how these cells are packed in through there, stratum corneum, stratum granulosum. You see the keratin hyaline granules, which is the same as what we see there. And then this is spinosum, and then the basal is at the very bottom layer. We don't have one of those. So these guys are keratocytes, which are the main cell type that divides at the bottom and differentiates as it goes up to the top. There are some other cells in there. One of those are Langerhans cells, and you can see the dendritic processes of the Langerhans cell, and that's associated with the immunologic barrier, detecting things come through there and telling the immune system.
Again, we want to thank the original sources of images and photographs that were used here that have been modified for this presentation on the functions of skin as we can see it. So that is the end of the skin lecture on the layers of the epidermis. There are different layers of the epidermis which make possible the various functions of the epidermis in the role of skin.